What if Mega Kangaskhan was in Gen 1 OU? Now, to say Kangaskhan is a mild improvement over regular Kangaskhan, it's a massive understatement. This is already a big deal because regular Kangaskhan is already pretty good in Gen 1. Like, even in Gen 1 OU, it has a niche. It's bulky and it hits hard. So let's make it faster, let's make it bulkier, and we definitely gotta make sure it hits harder. That's for sure. The one thing that we won't be giving it is its ability Parental Bond. Not because I didn't want to. Because originally, I wanted to make videos showing the damage ranges. Because with Parental Bond, it would, kind of be good. It would, help you with some certain damage ranges. Like 2 body slams against a Chansey. That sounds pretty good. 2 body slams basically against a Jinx. I'm pretty sure it's just guaranteed. Or actually, no. I think the second hit is 50% less damage. But that's still crazy. It still means the damage ranges are so... it almost kills basically everything. Or it flat out does kill everything. There's no in between. I don't even want to think about how Hyper Beam works. The idea of a physical Hyper Beam hitting once and then being hit with 50%, that might just be a guaranteed KO on basically everything, if not literally everything. But unfortunately, Parental Bond is one of many abilities that doesn't work. What I've seen, when it comes to both items and abilities, as well as sort of moves, the more complicated ones are the ones that don't work. Meanwhile, the simple ones, such as Intimidate as an ability, or Leftovers as an item, those seem to work. But Parental Bond is just too advanced for Gen 1, unfortunately. But that's fine, because it means Kangaskhan doesn't immediately get banned at Ubers. It probably still gets banned there anyways, because this thing is just fast, tanky, hits hard. But at least it needs to earn that now, so that's pretty nice. Not to mention, for Gen 2, I'm actually not sure if it get banned from Gen 2. In Gen 2, it'd probably be really good, but I'm not sure if it'd be better than Snorlax. Once you get to Gen 3 and has Parental Bond, definitely. So Mega Kangaskhan might just be a Pokemon that, regardless of the generation, will almost always get banned, because it's just too good. At least until we get to, Generation 10, where Pokemon are so overpowered that, Mega Evolutions and anything with booster energy are just unviable. We'll worry about that later. For now, let's get on to the replays, shall we? Starting off with the boy himself, Tauros. Tauros, you tank those body slams really good. The only downside is that, for whatever reason, every single replay I made, almost all of them had Kangaskhan getting abysmal luck. But to be fair, this will happen in actual Gen 1. Tauros will get crits. It's Tauros. It's what he does. So the win isn't always guaranteed. Also, Fire Blast is yet again a very viable option. Of course, Tauros got a crit there. But just like enemies, Tauros, Snorlax, Rhydon, the Fear of Burn is just a really good tool. And I think you would see it a little bit more with Mega Kangaskhan in the format, for however long that lasts. And for Snorlax, you're a lot faster, but you're not as bulky. Or wait till it comes to your base HP stat. Pretty sure with your defense, you are just bulkier, which is definitely really nice. Also, the fact that you're a normal type, which means you do not have to worry about paralysis from Body Slam. That's really good. But see what I mean about abysmal luck? I don't know what's going on here. I feel bad. I feel bad for Kangaskhan. She didn't deserve this. But, what about, Reflect Wax? Unfortunately, Reflect Wax you don't do anywhere near as good against. But at the same time, you have 100 base speed. You have a 19% crit rate. That's really good. Kangaskhan didn't get that lucky in this replay, unfortunately. But there's bound to be some where it will happen. I'd still put my money on Snorlax most of the time. But going for crits isn't the most unrealistic thing in the world. And while we're here, I guess I'll talk about Kangaskhan's buff to Special. As you see, using Blizzard there. It goes from 40 to 60, which, yeah, it's not the best in the world, but it's only 5 less than Snorlax. So I really do think Blizzard is probably worth it just for Rhydon specifically. Maybe I'm wrong with that, but that sounds about right. As for Amnesialax, this is probably the one you have the best shot against, assuming it doesn't have Reflect, because Snorlax can just not be able to set up in time before it can kill you. Or before you can kill it, I mean. Because with just one Amnesia, you're already taking at least 2 Body Slams, both of which do like around 30%, which is insane. Crits are also insane, which Mega Kangaskhan will definitely be getting a lot of. I'm being real, I forgot to make an Alakazam replay, but I don't think it matters too much, because with 125 attack, stab, body slam, maybe Zam can get lucky, but I am not putting my money on it. I think that's just a great matchup for Kangaskhan. This is how much it does against Chansey. Unfortunately, not a 2-hit KO. But still, Chansey has a lot to fear here. The only way it has a chance is if it uses Counter or if it uses Reflect. With Reflect, it's Kangaskhan suffering from the same things as regular, or not regular, suffering from the same problems as it does with Reflect Wax, where it struggles to do enough damage, but on the bright side, it can crit, so that could happen. But yeah, like, while this replay is going on, that's what I've said all I have to say about Chansey. Once again, I like to say that Zam is just taking so much from Body Slam. If it gets paralyzed, it's just over. Or if Kangaskhan switches in on a paralyzed Zam, that Zam's just dying. I do not care what the damage range is. So, I probably don't need to show that. You could probably have a good guess on your own. But luckily, some other Pokemon, such as Cloyster, are, I would say, interesting. I considered giving Kangaskhan Thunderbolt as tech against Cloyster, but I'm honestly thinking it might not need it. I'll see in a little bit. Now, Cloyster is really tanky, but Kangaskhan's faster. With Paralysis, that definitely helps, but you don't care too much about Clamp. And I think you do more, well no, you do more damage in Tauros, because Tauros has the base 100 attack stat, Kangaskhan's 125. So you are hitting harder, which adds up when it comes to damage ranges. And look at that, that's a crit, and that does 48%, which is insane. Now, Cloyster can still rest, it can still freeze, threaten explosion, and a critical clamp is just absolutely terrifying. But sometimes damage ranges can help a lot. Being able to 4-hit KO Cloyster just helps you significantly. It's weird how it works that way, but it's true. Not to mention getting paralysis on Cloyster really doesn't like. But I think Kangaskhan hates a critical 5 clamp even more. I was actually shocked that Kangaskhan barely survived this. But don't forget that Kangaskhan does have base 105 HP and base 100 special defense, which goes a long way in making it the tankiest Pokemon in the format. I'd even say probably more tankier than Chansey. Now, if Exeggutor has Sleep Powder, it can win, but that's more so just winning with Sleep. I don't think that really counts. Also, without a crit, Blizzard would have done 30%, so about the same as Body Slam, in all honesty. Body Slam will probably do a little bit more because of Stab, and just using your higher attack stat, but still. If there's no Sleep, Kangaskhan can take on Exeggutor pretty easily, I would say. But I'd still put it in could go either way, because there's still Explosion, and Psychic Special Drops could be annoying. Now, Gengar is very different. I really don't think Gengar would risk Hypnosis. Earthquake hits too hard, and Kangaskhan is already really bulky in the first place. So, like, how much would Thunderbolt even do to it? Probably not much, if I had to guess. Also, it's also worth noting that I'm pretty sure Kangaskhan is another Pokemon that is so bulky that if you go for Seismic Toss, or I mean, not Seismic Toss, Substitute, it takes 2 Seismic Tosses or Nightshades to actually break it, which has its advantages. Jolteon doesn't really have advantages against Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan is way too bulky, and Earthquake does 3/4. Kangaskhan can be brought to half health, but I don't think it matters. Jolteon is not going to risk the crit against this thing. Now, next up, I believe this is Rhydon? Oh no, Jinx. Now with Sleep, Jinx does a lot of damage, but Body Slam is a 2-hit KO, and you're faster. As long as you don't make Kangaskhan your lead, which I'm not sure why you do in the first place, I say, well, it's going to lose this replay due to Sleep. For the most part, they can just beat Jinx really easily. Which I guess I'm not too interested in. That seems pretty predictable. If I had to guess. This is Rhydon, and this is the replay where Kangaskhan got unlucky, Miss Blizzard, unfortunate. Earthquake does good damage to Kangaskhan. Looks like Kangaskhan does a little bit more. And Earthquake is a 4-hit KO on Kangaskhan, which is insane because just how strong Rhydon's Earthquakes actually are. But that should just go to show just how tanky Kangaskhan really is when it has its baby Mega Evolve and it just stands there menacingly as the baby does all the work. Based. Now I think this one's interesting. Swellow can go for Thunder Wave, but Kangaskhan hits so hard that I feel like Swellow can't actually safely set up Amnesias against it. Keep in mind that Kangaskhan does have a lot of HP and special defense, so Swellow needs to go for all of the Amnesias. But that gives Kangaskhan plenty of times to crit, get paralysis with Body Slam, or just in general do a lot of damage. I don't think Swellow can risk it. I think most of the time it will lose. Now Starmie is a very similar case. With Recover and being faster with Thunder Wave, it's a much more winnable. But Blizzard doesn't do that much. Surf and Thunderbolt do either. So your only real bet is getting special drops with Psychic or getting crits, which isn't always going to work. And Kangaskhan, it just needs one Body Slam to put you in Hyper Beam range. You need to be extremely careful, but to be nice, I'll put that in could go either way. Because Paralysis and Recovery are really good. Last but not least, we got Zapdos. Unfortunately, unlike Tauros, you're not faster. So Zapdos can do a lot of damage to you. Crits and Paralysis you're actually terrified of in this context. So Zapdos can maybe win, but Kangaskhan can also win as well. If it gets a Paralysis and Body Slam, that might just help you win. But yeah, here is the tier list. And Kangaskhan, when it Mega Evolves, yeah, this guy's probably a little bit too good for Gen 1, I would say. He'd probably go to Ubers. Like, now, if he's better than Snorlax as the third best Pokemon, I would say, like, most definitely. I'm not sure how much Mega Kangaskhan actually changes Ubers. That might be worth looking at some other time. But for now, I guess you can consider this a late Mother's Day celebration video. If you have a mother, like, hug her and tell you love her, alright? I appreciate it. What do you guys think about Mega Kangaskhan? Do you think she would be too strong for Gen 1 OU? Well, I mean, yeah, I don't think anyone's going to disagree with me. But if you do, I'd love to hear why. But until next time, this is Groundback, and I look forward to hearing from you.